is us vlogging.
This is us vlogging. Yeah, because you finally have time to vlog now that you're not
working or in school.
Yeah, you got a little break. We're going to talk about boobs today.
Yes. Really more specifically,
breast milk.
Breastfeeding.
And, well, yeah, not really breast milk. Breastfeeding.
Jeez, Chelsea.
Mom brain. See, that's what I mean. We
I know. Dude, everything was fine.
She's like, let's vlog on the couch. We're all cuddly and the animals are all laying on her. And I was like, no, because every time we pull out the camera, they get all like hectic. And literally we start vlogging and two of them are like being all crazy. Toby. He's laying down. It's fine. So, yeah, we're going to talk about my breastfeeding journey with Emmett.
Yes.
We kind of touched on it in a few vlogs, I think.
Yeah, like our updates on his weight and stuff. Is that your stomach?
It is my stomach.
She needs to eat food. Like, she's like...
Breastfeeding makes you really hungry. You think you're hungry when you're pregnant. Breastfeeding makes you like 10 times hungrier. But, so we had mentioned that when Emmett was born and he was in the NICU, they had me using a nipple shield for really no other reason than trying to get him to supplement.
Yeah, and the reason they did it is like so that because they wanted to supplement formula, so they put a
like a little tube,
and they would put the formula in it, and then it would go down into the nipple shield, and he would get breast milk and the formula.
Yeah, and that way, like, they talked about how like he wouldn't lose his latch and he would be comfortable like breastfeeding still.
And doing a bottle, because we were doing a bottle at the time.
No nipple confusion, which I'm going to say my personal experience with the whole nipple confusion is that it doesn't exist. And I've talked to quite a few people who are on the same page as me with that.
Sorry.
And their babies, that they'll give them bottles and breastfeed, and there's never been nipple confusion.
It hasn't existed for us.
Well, and I talked to a lactation consultant outside of the hospital, and she said that as babies don't really get nipple confusion, they get lazy. Because the bottle is an easier flow, and so they realize that they can get full faster versus working for their milk.
Yep.
So a lot of times that's what you have to work for. So that's just a side note.
So obviously, you know, like we out of the gates, we're struggling like with him to gain weight, and we started getting stressed out because like the pediatrician and things were making kind of not a big deal, but like commenting on his weight and like, well, we really want to see like him gain more weight.
And we had to go back in like when he was around 2 weeks,
like
for a specific weight check.
And it was like uncomfortable, and like she was really stressed out, and we were it was an uncomfortable situation for both of us, because for me, I feel helpless.
Yeah.
Because I can't do anything, because I can't provide any milk, and I can't really assist in the process.
I mean, you give him bottles, but it's...
But like, I can't like, for me, it was like, anytime I got involved and with recommendations,
I got defensive.
Very upset. I offended her immensely because she felt like she was inadequate and not doing what she needed to do to take care of the kid. Mm-hmm. And Emmett, the kid. I call him the kid, the child.
He's the kid.
He's the kid. So, you know, it was really stressful, and like, you know, we were weighing him all the time, and then we were like, okay, try this, try that, and you know, she was still at this point using the nipple shield at home. And it was like a struggle with them, because she would put on the nipple shield and he would eat for a long time.
Yeah, so when we brought him home from the NICU, one of the lactation consultants from the NICU followed up with us like 2 days later and asked how we were doing. And, you know, at that time we were doing fine, like everything, we were settling into home. And she's like, okay, well, you can stop using the nipple shield now. And I said, okay, so, you know, whatever. And
we thought it was great.
The struggle with the nipple shield is it's a great tool, but they're handed out without the warning that you're gonna have to wean your baby off of a nipple shield. So I didn't know I had to wean him off, so every time I would just try to nurse him without the nipple shield, he got so frustrated and would just scream and be mad. And so then I just put the nipple shield back on, because I was like, well, it's working.
Yeah.
And as frustrating as it was for me, like, it worked. And you know, like, it was harder being out in public and having to breastfeed him and get a nipple shield on. It was so chaotic and like frustrating that it was more like, it was more work than probably if you just put together a bottle, whereas breastfeeding is supposed to be where you just put him on the boob. The battery's gonna die.
Oh no, the battery's gonna die. That's okay. We're gonna get through this.
So that was really frustrating. And when he was at it, when we had gone to the 2-month appointment, that weekend before the 2-month appointment, I talked to a lactation consultant outside of the hospital, and she kind of went over with me. She's like, you have to wean him off. So she was like, if you feel your letdown, have the nipple shield on and have him, you know, start eating. And once you feel the letdown, take him off, take the nipple shield off and put him back on. So we did that, and it was over a course of a good week that we slowly weaned him off. He would nurse shorter times with the nipple shield, and finally he was just doing it without the nipple shield. And another thing with the nipple shield that the lactation consultant told me is the reason he wasn't gaining weight is because he had to work harder with the nipple shield, because my boob or my nipples didn't feel his saliva, which creates the hormones for him to get the good fatty milk quicker. So he would nurse for 20 to 30 minutes with the nipple shield,
and he wouldn't get
the good milk.
Yeah.
So now his nursing times are between like anywhere 8 to 15 minutes depending on the feeding, and he's consistently gaining weight.
He is,
that we've noticed. You know, when we were under the pressure for him to gain weight, which I have a whole like rant going on about like weight gains and like their growth charts and stuff, but that's
another
topic and another vlog.
I think the learning we want to share really here is just like the nipple shield is a great tool, but you know, don't use it for very long.
Just know that if you're going to use it, it's better for you and your baby to wean them off, or to be aware that you're eventually going to have to wean them off. I read things that people breastfed their babies with nipple shields for a good year. I guess maybe for some people it works out, but
you know, I think it's a great tool to get them comfortable and maybe utilize it in the beginning to get them comfortable.
Which I want to touch on, like when he was born, like we did immediate breastfeeding
and he was
during
great.
the golden
he didn't
hour.
Have any
he
issues.
latched so great. So it was more the NICU
NICU formula situation.
Kind of set us back a little bit, and you know, we had our huge learnings to that. But I was going to say, when we were using the nipple shield, we were doing the whole triple feeding thing, which is pumping, bottle feeding, and breastfeeding. It was really
and it was
hard.
really stressful. It really came between us. Like we would have arguments about you know, what's the best way, and then at some point right before, like I like intervened and was like, pump, and we're feeding him on bottles, so he gets what he needs, we have to get his weight gain up. Like I was freaking out that they would like take him away or put him in the NICU.
And then it was so stressful because we have a scale here at home and we'd weigh him, and then if his weight gain wasn't like where we thought it should be, Jamie would say something, then I'd get defensive and just like walk away.
And I know that we were probably overdoing it, and like we shouldn't give so much power to like what the pediatrician says.
But when you're a first-time parent,
it's
and that's
scary, and you feel,
especially like if you're breastfeeding and you're like your child's like full source of nutrition, you feel like really bad. Like it's really hard and stressful, which is bad for your milk supply. So it's just like
it was a lot. And I was afraid a little bit that something might have been wrong. I mean, I started getting really paranoid. But I mean, he definitely is gaining. He's a little chub above right now.
Cheeks.
He's getting cheeks
and
some fat fingers. Yep.
But and also like when you're breastfeeding, and I don't know everybody with their postpartum stuff, but for me, like breastfeeding, I'm very defensive about like my breastfeeding and about like my milk and stuff. Like
I would
touch on that. So
I would offend her all the time. I wouldn't mean to at all. Like even still to this moment, you like take it personally if I ask you a question about something, and it's not. I'm not questioning you. I'm never like, oh my God, did you feed him enough?
And I know that it's weird. Like, I mean, my emotions are all over the place after having a baby. And
that makes sense.
So,
but we wanted to just do a quick vlog and let you know, like, that he's gaining weight and things are going well after the nipple shield. That we recommend it as a tool for the like being able to assist with latching.
If you have to.
However, don't use it long term.
And like, you know, I know it's tough like if you're a first time parent, but like this would also go as kind of a, you know, tip for if you have to go into the NICU, which I pray people don't have to. That was really rough. But if you do, like, don't be afraid to voice your opinion or like kind of stand up.
Yeah, I think one thing we realized is we had a choice and we just felt like they had to do it.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a choice. And the moment we were so confused and helpless
and overwhelmed
that we could have said, no, we're not really interested in in using that Nipple Shield, we will just supplement the formula with a bottle and continue breastfeeding as is. And that would have assisted. I bet you money he wouldn't have been in the NICU as long, and his blood sugar would have went up because your supply would have come in. I mean, you can't go back.
Yeah.
But just going forward, that's, I mean, it's just a learning that we want to share.
A learning, yeah. So that's, you know, a quick synopsis of my breastfeeding journey. It was rough in the beginning, in which most moms will probably tell you that it's rough in the beginning, but if you stick it out and you're determined, because I was determined to breastfeed him, you know, without the Nipple Shield, and it was hard. There were days that we both were crying and frustrated, but you know, we did it, and he's waking up.
He's waking up and he's crying.
So yeah, we just want to share those learnings with you, and like, you know, put the support out there. You know, there's
thanks for following along. Sorry that we've been not great at vlogging, but we're gonna get better about it.
Yeah, shout out to the new subscribers, because I see that we're still getting some.
Yes, thank you for subscribing, and we're excited to share our journey, our continued journey, and we will talk to you later.
Give the video a thumbs up, go subscribe to our channel, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the Patrick. Bye!
Bye!